Hey everyone, Ted Wyman here with another edition of On the Rocks. And tonight we are joined by a very special guest, the newly minted Canadian men's curling champion, Brier 2021 champ, Brendan Bottcher. Brendan, welcome to On the Rocks, and thanks so much for doing this. How are you feeling today? I mean, just digesting what went on yesterday and winning your first Brier.
Yeah, thanks, Ted, for having me on. Just an absolutely amazing feeling. You know, we work so hard as a group. It's often it's often not easy. Certainly, the last few years they've been good Brier experiences up till the end, and then suffered a tough defeat each year. And it's tough to regroup after that each year and put in all the time and effort and sacrifice and keep trying to get back to that same situation again. And I think there's just a big sense of accomplishment and also a bit of relief that, you know, we finally broke through that ceiling and played absolutely outstanding last night.
Does it make you forget about those other times a little bit? You know, does it just, it must ease the pain.
Well, it puts it in perspective. So, you know, those games will always be there for a lot of reasons. Each of those years was a huge success in my books. There were lots of positives that we took from each of those. And we built on that, and it culminated in a win last night. And that's all you can really do is keep trying to win the next one, put yourself in as many of those situations as you can, and hopefully you end up winning your share.
What did it mean to you to win with those teammates that had all been through that same, you know, years of frustration with you? And I don't know, frustration is probably not a fair term, but really on that last day, it just didn't go right. And to hear Darren Moulding talk yesterday, you know, it's been his lifelong dream. Just what does it mean to be there with those guys at that moment?
Yeah, pretty special. Pretty special that we had all experienced, like you say, the same thing the last few years. And we really kept searching, kept trying to grow, kept trying to find little ways we could get advantages here and there. And I'm really proud of the guys for putting in all that effort, because it's often you put in the effort up front and then you wait to see if it's going to pay off. And that's kind of tough. But it did for us here. And I think we're all super duper proud of that. And that's something we'll have to remember forever, that we were able to persevere through that together.
All right. So important question here. You're in a bubble in Calgary. How do you celebrate a Brier win?
Well, you know, we were able to celebrate a little bit, staying within all the rules of what we were and were not allowed to do. There were definitely a couple celebratory beverages that were had, which I think were well earned at that moment. So you got to relax. You got to allow yourself a chance to savor in it too, because those moments are they can be few and far between. You never know when you'll get the chance to get back there and do it again. So you definitely have to allow yourself to, you know, just relax and enjoy for a few minutes.
It's interesting because you win that final game, and that was such an important win. And Kevin Cooey can't even make a last shot because you've taken away every possible option. But to me, the most key shot of yesterday was your shot against Matt Dunstone in the semifinal in the 10th end. And I mean, realistically, have you ever made a bigger one than that?
That would be up there for sure. That would definitely be up there. But, you know, the caliber of field that was here this week, whoever won this Brier was going to have to make their handful of incredible shots. There was just no other way around it. The field was too deep. The shots were going to be too hard. And whoever made their share of them was going to come out on top. In a lot of ways, for me, the game against Saskatchewan was such a grind for us as a team. You know, we really weren't playing that well. Neither team was. But they were ahead on the scoreboard the whole game. And it's tough in those moments to come up with the big shot. I think in the game last night, we played a lot better. So our degree of difficulty was down quite a bit. So we made even more, and you get a lot of confidence from that. And when you have a lot of confidence, it's easy to play the big shots. It's a little harder when you're playing your B game or your C+ game and trying to come up with the big one at the end.
Were you sitting waiting on that shot against Dunstone? Did you see that all the end developing, that was going to be your last hope?
Yeah, it was definitely a possibility. So Don, our coach, came out about halfway through the end. We called a timeout, asked a few questions, and he mentioned right before he walked back to the bench, that rock way up there is going to be your friend at the end of this, possibly. And so we had that in the back of our mind, and he was 100% right as it all turned out. I mean, to win a playoff game at the Brier, you've got to expect to make a few really good shots.
How many times, you throwing it or any other top skip, are you making that shot out of 10?
3.
Okay.
I think 3. It's less than 50 for sure. It was just too long. There would be some skips like Kevin who would make it more than just about anyone, just because that's his bread and butter shot. But I still don't think it's a 50% make.
So, Brendan, you're now still in the bubble. Obviously, we can see that you're still there in your hotel. Mixed doubles coming up, then men's worlds, then Grand Slams. Like, are you leaving the bubble at any time before the end of April, or are you kind of there for a while now?
Yeah, I think we're here till, at least I'm here till April 25th. That's the date. Like you said, there all 4 of those events will run back to back. There's various days of isolation in between all of them, but we'll be stuck here throughout all of that. And honestly, that's great. Being here for a long time meant that you were winning, and that's something you got to cherish and be happy about, not fight against. So I'm happy here for what it's worth. I guess I'm only a week and a half in, but I'm content. I feel like this is my home for the next little bit, and it will be. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's a pretty huge commitment for a curler, though, isn't it? I mean, you've got a full-time job. Most of the people do, and lives and families and significant others, everything. I mean, it's a big commitment, isn't it?
Oh, it's a huge commitment, even on the work side. I'm so fortunate that Spartan Controls allows me to work remotely, and I can still do a lot of work. So even today, yes, we won the Brier last night. Yes, we stayed up and celebrated a little bit. But at 7:30 this morning, I logged on to work and started answering work emails from last week. So it definitely puts it in perspective that way as well.
Mixed doubles, that's coming up very quickly here. Obviously, a growing discipline in this country, very much a part of the Olympic realm, and Canada won the first gold medal there. How much time do you spend on that?
So definitely not a majority stake, but we do practice quite a bit. In a regular season, I'd probably play 3 or 4 mixed doubles events, just to feel comfortable, have enough points that we can play the events we want to play in, and kind of work it around our men's schedule where it makes sense. You definitely don't want to be playing too many weekends in a row, but the mixed doubles events have been quite good at positioning themselves on weekends where a lot of us can come, and it makes sense. So that's awesome.
What's it going to mean to you to put on the Maple Leaf in a couple of weeks?
That's pretty special. It is. I've had the great fortune of being able to do that before, and the feeling is second to none. It really is. It doesn't matter what sport you play or what arena you're in. There's just something special about that. And I think we'll really relish in that. It'll be pretty neat to see those uniforms come, even when we get them before we start.
Okay, and you and I have talked before about the Brier and about maybe needing some changes, some tweaks to the format, to which teams come and all that kind of stuff. I think from what I heard from you talking this week, that this 18-team field kind of made some sense to you. You had all the provincial representation and territorial representation, but you also had all the top teams because CTRS points was used to bring other teams in. Do you like that maybe going forward, or do you still think there needs to be some discussion about changing it more?
I think this is a great format. There's always a lot of stakeholders, and in this one, I think this format appeases almost everyone. Like I mentioned, you have all the representation from across the country. Every province and territory can send their rep, and you still have all the top teams that are there. So you've kind of got the best of both worlds. And I think you saw early in the week some of the sweetheart stories where, some of those provincial territorial reps that caught some of us top teams out of the gate. And that makes for a great story too. So I think this was good. I think it was a good balance. I'm interested to see where Curling Canada goes. I'm not sure if this was a one-off because of COVID, or if this was a strategic goal of where they were hoping to be in the future.
Well, you can always learn from those things too, right? I mean, potentially they didn't think that it was going to go this way originally, but maybe it worked well enough that you look at doing it again going forward. Won't keep you much longer here, Brendan, but I got to ask, are the Lucky Sox going to be coming back for mixed doubles and the Worlds?
That's to be determined. So I hear that there might be more pairs of socks coming in my future. So I might have to wait and see. Maybe there's some more new goodies that I can try on for the next events. But I just think that's such a cool story. I'm so thankful for Barbara for starting that one. It was really such a good-hearted, down-to-earth, just a good story for sport. And, often the news is so negative. So definitely proud to be a part of that. I'm super thankful for her for starting it. And we'll see where it goes.
So she's sending you more socks, or other people are going to start sending you socks now?
Possibly all of the above. I feel like lots of other people are going to start sending me socks. So I'm going to have to take inventory of where I'm at.
Fair to say you're not an ankle socks guy anymore.
I love ankle socks. I'm wearing them right now.
Well, but when you win, you're wearing the color.
Oh, 100%. You can't go against the curling gods.
Right on. Okay, Brendan, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on winning that Brier. All the best in the mixed doubles and at the Worlds representing Canada. Very exciting for you, I'm sure. For Brendan Bottcher, I'm Ted Wyman. Thank you for watching On the Rocks.
Awesome. Thank you.